I never thought helping my best friend's mom with a home renovation would change my life forever. But there I was, standing in Claire Dawson's studio at midnight, watching her trace architectural plans with those elegant fingers, and I knew I was in trouble. You probably think I'm a creep, 30 years old, lusting after my best friend's mother, and you'd be right to judge. But let me tell you something, desire doesn't give a damn about your moral compass. The rain started the night everything changed. I'd been helping Claire with her home studio renovation for about 3 weeks by then. Small stuff, at first moving furniture, picking paint colors, holding one end of a measuring tape while she squinted at the other. Emma thought it was great that her best friend and her mom got along so well. "You two are like my favorite people," she'd said over drinks the week before, beaming. "I'm so lucky." Lucky. Right. That Thursday evening started like any other. Emma was supposed to join us for dinner after we finished installing the floating shelves. But she texted at the last minute client emergency, had to work late. So sorry. Claire read the message aloud in her sun-drenched kitchen, and I watched her face carefully for any sign of disappointment. Instead, she smiled. A small, private smile that made my stomach flip. "Well," she said, setting down her phone. "Guess it's just us then?" "I can go," I offered, even though every cell in my body was screaming at me to stay. "If you're tired, don't be silly." She opened the fridge, pulled out a bottle of white wine. "You've been working all afternoon. The least I can do is feed you." So we ordered Thai food pad Thai for her, drunken noodles for me, and ate it straight from the containers, sitting on her kitchen counter with our legs dangling like teenagers. She'd changed out of her work clothes into yoga pants and an oversized sweater that kept sliding off one shoulder. I tried not to look at that shoulder. Failed miserably. "Can I ask you something?" Claire said suddenly, twirling pad Thai around her fork. The question hung in the air between us, weighted with something I couldn't quite name. "Sure. Why are you still single?" She looked at me over the rim of her wine glass. Those hazel eyes, flecked with gold in the evening light. "Emma says, you haven't dated anyone seriously in over a year." I nearly choked on my spring roll, coughing into my napkin while she patted my back, her hand warm through my shirt. "Emma talks about my love life? Constantly," Claire said with a small smile. "Last week she told me you went on a date with some marketing executive and left after 20 minutes because she talked too much about crypto. In my defense, it was a lot of crypto talk. She worries you're going to end up alone." Claire's smile faded. "She doesn't want you to wake up at 50 and realize you've been waiting for perfection instead of accepting something real." Sounds like she's projecting. Maybe. Claire took a long sip of wine. Or maybe she just wants the people she loves to be happy. The way she said people she loves made my chest tight. I was one of those people. For now, maybe I am, I said quietly. Or maybe perfect doesn't look like what everyone thinks it should look like. Claire went very still. Her fork stopped moving. "What does that mean?" "It means..." I set down my container, turned to face her fully. "It means... maybe perfect is sitting on a kitchen counter eating takeout with someone who makes you laugh, someone who gets your references and doesn't judge you for eating dessert first, someone who I stopped myself, someone who what? Someone who makes you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be." The silence stretched. Outside, a car horn honked. The refrigerator hummed. Claire's breath caught. "Or maybe," she said softly, "you're just looking in the wrong places." The air between us shifted, thickened. I could hear the hum of her refrigerator, the distant sound of traffic outside, the thundering of my own heartbeat. "Claire, I'm sorry." She set down her wine, slid off the counter. "That was inappropriate. I shouldn't have." "You're not wrong." The words came out before I could stop them. "About me looking in the wrong places." She froze, her back to me. I watched her shoulders rise and fall with a deep breath. "Noah, I'm 45 years old. I know. I have a 28-year-old daughter who happens to be your best friend. I know that too. Then you also know this." She gestured between us. "Whatever this is, it can't happen." I jumped down from the counter, took 2 steps toward her, still a careful distance away, but close enough to smell her perfume. Jasmine and something darker. Dangerous. "What if I don't care about can't?" I said quietly. "What if I'm tired of doing the right thing? The safe thing? What if I just want to..." "Want to what?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "This." I took one more step, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off her skin. "I want this. Whatever this is. Even if it's wrong, Even if it's insane. I can't stop thinking about you, Claire. God knows I've tried. But every time I close my eyes, you're there. She turned to face me. Her eyes were glassy, like she was fighting back tears. I do. I care about my daughter. I care about not destroying the most important friendship in her life. I care about not being that pathetic middle-aged woman who… Stop. My voice came out harder than I intended. You're not pathetic. You're not any of the things you're about to say. Then what am I? I took another step closer. We were inches apart now. I could see the silver threads woven through her dark hair, the tiny laugh lines at the corners of her eyes, the pulse fluttering in her throat. You're someone who makes me feel alive for the first time in years, I said. Someone who laughs at my terrible jokes. Someone who gets paint in her hair and doesn't care. Someone I can't stop thinking about, no matter how hard I try. Noah. Her voice broke. We can't. I know. Emma would never forgive us. I know. Her hand lifted, trembling, and touched my chest. Just 5 fingers pressed against my shirt, but it felt like lightning. This is wrong on so many levels, she whispered. Then why does it feel so right? For a long moment we just stood there, breathing the same air, teetering on the edge of something irreversible. The clock on her wall ticked loudly. Outside, rain began to fall harder, drumming against the windows like a warning. Then her phone rang Emma's special ringtone, the one that sounded like wind chimes, and the spell shattered. Claire stepped back so fast she nearly tripped. That's Emma. I should answer. Yeah, of course. I grabbed my jacket and left while she was still on the phone, her voice artificially bright as she told her daughter that, yes, dinner was lovely. No, she wasn't interrupting anything. We were just cleaning up. In my car, I sat with my forehead pressed against the steering wheel and tried to remember how to breathe. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. Asterisk, I'm sorry. Asterisk. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, asterisk. Don't be. Asterisk. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then. Asterisk. I feel it too. Asterisk. My heart stopped. I waited for more, but nothing came. Just those 4 words, glowing in the dark like a confession, like a promise, like the beginning of the end. The next 2 weeks were torture. I told myself I'd stay away. Give her space. Let whatever insane moment we'd shared fade into awkward memory. But then she'd text me a question about paint finishes, or Emma would invite me to lunch with both of them, and I'd be right back in Claire's orbit, dizzy and helpless as a moth circling a flame. Emma noticed nothing. Why would she? Her best friend and her mom got along great, what a blessing. If she'd known I was memorizing the way her mother bit her lower lip when she concentrated, if she'd known I was lying awake at night replaying the sound of Claire's laugh, the real one, unguarded and slightly husky, if she'd known that every time the 3 of us had coffee together, I was imagining what it would feel like to reach across the table and lace my fingers through Claire's. One afternoon, I showed up at Claire's place to help install crown molding. Emma was supposed to be there but had canceled last minute again. Some work thing. It was becoming a pattern. I'm starting to think she's avoiding me, Claire joked as she let me in. But there was something in her eyes, a question she wasn't asking. Maybe she's avoiding me, I said. Why would she do that? Because I'm in love with her mother, I thought. Because guilt is eating me alive and I'm a terrible actor. No reason, I said aloud. She didn't look convinced. Noah, if I've done something to make you uncomfortable… No, I said quickly. Too quickly. It's not that. It's just, work's been crazy. Clients demanding revisions. The usual. Oh, she nodded. But something in her expression told me she knew I was lying. Well, if you ever want to talk about it, thanks. I picked up the hammer, turning away before she could see my face. Before she could see how badly I wanted to tell her the truth. That I was uncomfortable because being near her and not touching her was physically painful. That every time she laughed, I wanted to memorize the sound. That I was falling in love with her and it was destroying me. We worked in near silence for an hour. The only sounds, the scrape of ladder legs on hardwood, the tap of hammer on nails, the soft jazz playing from her phone. But the silence wasn't comfortable. It was electric, crackling with everything we weren't saying. Finally, Claire climbed down from her ladder and said, Coffee? Sure. In the kitchen, she busied herself with the espresso machine, her back to me. I leaned against the counter and watched her hands shake slightly as she measured grounds. Noah, we need to talk about what happened, she said, without turning around. My stomach dropped. Okay. That night, I said some things I shouldn't have. I was vulnerable. The divorce was hard, and I've been lonely. And you're. She stopped, took a breath. You're kind and funny, and you look at me like I'm not invisible. But that's not fair to you. What's not fair? Leading you on. She finally turned to face me. Her eyes were red-rimmed. Making you think there could ever be something between us when there can't? You're Emma's best friend. You're like family. And I'm… Her voice wavered. I'm old enough to know better. You're not old. I'm 15 years older than you, Noah. 15. When you were in high school, I was getting divorced and raising a daughter. We're from different generations. I don't care about any of that. Well, I do. Her voice rose, sharp with frustration. I care that my daughter would hate me. I care that everyone would think I'm pathetic. I care that you'd wake up one day and realize you wasted your youth on someone with gray hair and crow's feet, and… I closed the distance between us in 2 strides, cupped her face in my hands, and kissed her. For half a second, she froze. Then she melted into me, her hands fisting in my shirt, a small sound escaping her throat that made my knees weak. She tasted like coffee and desperation and something sweet I couldn't name. Her lips were soft, hesitant at first, then urgent. Her fingers tangled in my hair, pulling me closer, and I made a sound I didn't recognize, something raw and hungry and terrifyingly honest. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard, our foreheads pressed together. Oh God, she whispered. What did we just do? I don't know. My hands were shaking where they cupped her face. But I'm not sorry. You should be. Her eyes were closed. We both should be. But you're not either. No. She opened her eyes, and what I saw there made my breath catch. I'm not. We can't do this, she whispered against my lips. I know. Emma would kill me if she knew. I pulled back just far enough to look into her eyes. Then, let's keep it our secret. She stared at me for a long moment. Then, slowly, she nodded. That's how it started. With a kiss in her kitchen and a promise to lie to the person we both loved most. We stood there for another minute, neither of us willing to let go. Then, Claire's phone buzzed again, another message from Emma, asking if I was still there, if we wanted to grab breakfast tomorrow, the 3 of us. Claire read it over my shoulder. I felt her tense. We have to tell her, she said. Eventually. We can't. I know. But I didn't pull away. Just… not yet. Let's figure out what this is first. And if we figure out it's a mistake, then we tell her it was a mistake and we move on. I brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. But what if it's not? She didn't answer. But she kissed me again, and that was answer enough. 3 days later, I was at Claire's place again. We told ourselves we were just talking. We weren't. I had her pressed against the kitchen counter, her fingers tangled in my hair, both of us breathing hard between kisses. Then we heard it. A key in the front door. Claire's eyes went wide with panic. Emma, she mouthed. My heart stopped. We flew apart. Claire smoothed her hair, wiped her lips. I grabbed a wrench from the toolbox, dropped to my knees in front of the sink. Mom? Emma's voice echoed from the entryway. You home? In the kitchen. Claire's voice came out too high. She cleared her throat. Noah's fixing the garbage disposal. Emma appeared in the doorway, gym bag slung over her shoulder. She looked at me under the sink, then at her mom by the stove. I thought you had spin class? Claire said. Cancelled. Emma frowned. Why are you so flushed? Hot flash. Claire laughed too loudly. Getting old, you know. Emma rolled her eyes. Okay, too much information. Hey, Noah. Hey. I didn't look up from the pipes. Couldn't trust my face. My hands were shaking. She grabbed a water bottle from the fridge. I'm gonna shower. Noah, wanna grab lunch after? There's this new ramen place. Can't. I forced my voice steady. Client meeting at 2? Rain check then? She left. The second her bedroom door closed, Claire sank against the counter, hand over her mouth. I crawled out from under the sink. We stared at each other. That was too close, she whispered. Yeah, my heart was still racing. Maybe we should. Don't. She grabbed my wrist. Don't say we should stop. I can't stop. Not yet. I pulled her close, buried my face in her hair. Me neither. We stood there, holding each other, listening to the shower run upstairs. This secret was going to destroy us, but neither of us could let go. The restaurant was 45 minutes outside the city, a little Italian place Emma would never find. Claire wore a dress midnight blue, sleeveless, showing off the constellation of freckles on her shoulders I'd been fantasizing about for weeks. Her hair was down, falling in dark waves around her face. "I feel like a criminal," she said as we slid into a corner booth. "Like we're doing something illegal. Technically, we are doing something illegal. In the court of Emma?" She laughed, but it sounded sad. "She'd never forgive me. You know that, right?" "Yeah." I reached across the table, threaded my fingers through hers. Her hand was warm, slightly calloused from gardening. "But I'm here anyway." "Why?" She searched my face. "Why risk it? There are 1,000 women your own age who'd—" "I don't want 1,000 women." I squeezed her hand. "I want you. You say that now, but what about in 5 years? 10? Claire." I cut her off gently. "I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm risking. And I'm still here. Doesn't that tell you something?" She bit her lip, nodded. "Tell me about your last relationship." Emma said it ended badly. I grimaced. Her name was Mia. We dated for 2 years. She wanted to get married, have kids, the whole package. I kept stalling. I told myself I wasn't ready. But the truth was, I paused. The truth was, I never felt for her what I feel for you. "What do you feel for me?" "Like I'm awake for the first time in my life." I turned her hand over, traced the lines on her palm. "Like gravity shifted, and you're the only thing keeping me grounded. Like I'd burn down my whole world just to make you smile." Her eyes filled with tears. "That's the most romantic and terrifying thing anyone's ever said to me." "Good. You should be terrified. I'm terrified too." "Of what?" Her thumb traced circles on my palm. "Of how much I want this." "Want you." I paused. "I've never felt this way about anyone, Claire. And I know that sounds like a line, but it's not. With Mia, with everyone else, there was always this voice in the back of my head asking if I was settling. But with you?" I trailed off, searching for the right words. "With me? What?" "With you." That voice is silent. With you, everything just clicks. Like I've been trying to solve a puzzle my whole life, and suddenly all the pieces fit. "Noah," her voice cracked. "I'm not asking you to give me an answer right now. I'm not even asking you to call this a relationship. I met her eyes. I just need you to know that this isn't casual for me. You're not casual for me, and if Emma finds out and hates me forever, I'll still think it was worth it. Because getting to know you, getting to see the person you are when no one else is looking, that's worth everything." A tear slid down her cheek. I caught it with my thumb. "I dream about you," she said again, voice breaking. "Every single night. And in my dreams, we're somewhere else. Somewhere no one knows us. And I don't have to choose between you and my daughter. I don't have to see the judgment in people's eyes. I can just love me," I finished softly. "Yes." The word came out as a sob. "I dream I can just love you without losing everything else. Of losing you before I really have you." I met her gaze. "Of Emma finding out. Of you waking up one day and realizing this is insane." "It is insane," she whispered. "But I dream about you every single night, Noah. Every night, I dream we're somewhere far away where no one knows us, and we don't have to hide. And I can just—" She trailed off. "Can just what?" "Love you." The words came out barely audible. "I dream I can just love you without destroying everything." My heart stuttered. "Stop dreaming," I said, leaning across the table. "I'm right here." She kissed me over the breadbasket, her hand cupping the back of my neck, and I stopped caring that we were in public or that this was reckless or that Emma would murder us both if she knew. Later, in the parking lot, rain drumming on the roof of my car, Claire turned to me with an expression I couldn't read. "Come home with me," she said. "Emma is in Seattle for a conference. I have the house to myself until Sunday." I should have said no. Should have reminded her that Emma could come home early, that neighbors might see, that we were playing with fire. Instead, I started the engine, my hand steady even though my heart was racing. "Are you sure?" I asked as I pulled out of the parking lot. She reached over, laced her fingers through mine. The drive back to her place took 20 minutes. Neither of us spoke. The rain had intensified, drumming against the windshield, and the streetlights blurred into smears of gold. Claire's thumb traced patterns on the back of my hand, nervous energy, or maybe anticipation. When we pulled into her driveway, she turned to me. "Last chance to change your mind," she said. I kissed her instead of answering. For 4 months, we were perfect. Perfectly secret, perfectly reckless, perfectly doomed. We met at her place when Emma was working late. We texted in code shelf installation meant I miss you, paint samples meant I love you. We perfected the art of sitting across from each other at dinner with Emma and acting like we were just friendly. But secrets have weight, and ours was getting heavier by the day. It was Sophie who shattered everything. Claire's friend from book club, the one with the sharp eyes and sharper tongue. She saw us at the restaurant one night, a different restaurant, farther from the city, but apparently not far enough. She didn't say anything to Claire. She went straight to Emma. The phone call came at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. I was at Claire's, asleep in her bed, when my phone started buzzing. Emma's name lit up the screen. Claire woke up, saw the caller ID, and went white. "Don't answer," she whispered. But I knew. Somehow, I knew it was already over. I answered, "Emma, how long?" Her voice was ice. "How long have you been fucking my mother?" The words hit like a physical blow. Next to me, Claire made a small, broken sound. "Emma, let me explain. How long?" 4 months. My voice came out hollow. 4 months. Silence. Then, "I'm at Mom's house. Get here, both of you, now." She hung up. Claire was already getting dressed, tears streaming down her face, hands shaking so badly she couldn't button her shirt. I helped her, my own hands steadier than they had any right to be. Shock, probably. Or maybe I'd been expecting this all along. The drive to her house took 12 minutes. It felt like 12 hours. Emma's car was parked at a violent angle in the driveway. Driver's door still open like she'd abandoned it mid-thought. Lights blazed in every window. We walked in together. Emma was in the living room, pacing like a caged animal. When she saw us, her face twisted into something I'd never seen before. Pure, incandescent rage. 4 months, she said quietly. Too quietly. 4 months you've been lying to my face. "Emma, please," Claire started. "Shut up!" Emma's voice cracked like a whip. Claire flinched. "You don't get to talk. You don't get to explain. You're my mother. He's my best friend. And you've been," she made a disgusted sound. "Do you have any idea how sick this is?" "It's not sick," I said. "We love each other." Emma laughed. It sounded like glass breaking. "Love? You think this is love? She's 45 years old, Noah. 45. She's using you to feel young again, to fix whatever David broke when he left. And you." She turned to me, and I saw my best friend disappear behind a stranger's eyes. "You're just another midlife crisis. She'll get bored, and you'll be left with nothing. No girlfriend, no best friend, nothing." "That's not true," Claire said, her voice shaking. "Emma, honey, I know you're angry, but—" "Don't call me honey," Emma screamed. "Don't you dare call me honey. You want to know what Sophie told me? She said she saw you two playing footsie under the table at Marcello's." Footsie, like teenagers. While I was home thinking my mom was finally moving on from Dad, she was sneaking around with my best friend. "I'm sorry." Claire was sobbing now, mascara running in black rivers down her face. "I'm so sorry, baby. I never meant to hurt you. I never meant for any of this to happen. It just, he makes me feel—" "I don't care how he makes you feel." Emma swept her arm across the mantel, sending picture frames crashing to the floor. Glass shattered. We both jumped. "I don't care if he makes you feel 25 again. You're not 25. You're my mother. You're supposed to be the responsible one. You're supposed to protect me, not." Her voice broke. She sank onto the couch, buried her face in her hands. Claire moved toward her, reaching out. "Emma, don't touch me." Emma's voice was muffled, broken. "Just don't. I can't even look at you right now. Emma, listen to me." I crouched in front of her, tried to catch her eye. "I know this is horrible. I know we should have told you. But this isn't some fling. This isn't your mom using me or me using her. We tried to stay away from each other. We really tried. But what? Emma looked up. Her eyes were red, swollen. But you just couldn't resist? Is that what you're going to tell me? That love made you do it? She spat the word like poison. That's bullshit, Noah. Love doesn't make you lie to someone for 4 months. Love doesn't make you betray your best friend. You're right, I said quietly. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I love her, Emma. I'm in love with your mom. And I think she loves me too. I do, Claire whispered. I love him. Emma stared at us both like we were strangers. Then she stood, walked to the door, grabbed her jacket. Emma, where are you going? Claire's voice climbed toward panic. Away from you. Emma's hand was on the doorknob. Both of you. I need to think. I can't be here right now. Please don't leave like this, Claire begged. Please, we can talk about this. We can figure it out. Figure it out? Emma turned back, and the look on her face made my chest ache. Mom, there's nothing to figure out. You slept with my best friend. He slept with you. You both lied to me for months. There's no coming back from that. So what are you saying? I asked. Emma looked at me. In her eyes, I saw the death of 10 years of friendship. Birthday parties and road trips and 3 a.m. phone calls and every stupid inside joke we'd ever shared. I'm saying we're done, she said. All of us. I don't want to see either of you again. And if you actually love each other, then congratulations. Hope it was worth it. She left. The door slammed behind her, and the sound echoed through the house like a gunshot. Claire collapsed, just folded in on herself like a puppet with cut strings, sliding down the wall until she was sitting on the floor, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. I sank down next to her, pulled her into my arms. She clung to me, her tears soaking through my shirt. I lost her, she choked out. I lost my daughter. She'll come around, I said, even though I didn't believe it. She just needs time. No. Claire pulled back, looked at me with devastated eyes. You didn't see her face. That wasn't anger, Noah. That was heartbreak. I broke my daughter's heart. We sat there on the floor until the sun came up, holding each other while our perfect secret turned to ash. Emma still doesn't speak to me. She's been civil with Claire for about 3 months now, short phone calls every other week, carefully neutral topics. No visits, no dinners, definitely no forgiveness. Claire moved in with me last month. Small apartment downtown, exposed brick, big windows. Emma doesn't know yet. We're waiting for the right time, which we both know doesn't exist. Sophie still spreads rumors at book club. Claire stopped going. David, Claire's ex-husband, still makes snide comments when he calls. Hey, heard you're cradle robbing now? Was his latest? Claire hung up on him. But here's the thing. Last night, Claire fell asleep in my arms, and I realized something. Some loves cost everything. They cost friendships and family dinners and peace of mind and the approval of everyone you know. They cost your reputation and your easy sleep and your certainty that you're a good person. And I'd pay that price again. In a heartbeat. You probably still think I'm a creep, 30 years old, in love with a woman 15 years older, sleeping in the bed where her daughter once watched movies with her. Maybe I am, but Claire is making coffee in the kitchen right now, humming off-key to some song from before I was born, and when she smiles at me over the rim of her mug, silver threads gleaming in her hair, laugh lines crinkling at the corners of her eyes, I know I made the right choice, even if it was the wrong one. She said my daughter would kill me if she knew. I answered then, let's keep it our secret. And we did. Until we couldn't anymore.